Welcome to Rewired for Love. I am your host, JaCarie Owens, licensed mental health counselor, EMDR basic training coach and consultant, group practice owner and supervisor at Courageous Minds Counseling, relational trauma expert, and the most important one, your honest but loving homegirl therapist who's not afraid to talk about the messy parts of healing. Around here, we talk about all things nobody taught us growing up, how our attachment styles show up in love, why our nervous system acts like a fool sometimes, and what it really takes to feel safe in our bodies. So this is not about perfection. It's about learning to love yourself in real time with grace, boundaries, and a little bit of humor. So take a deep breath. Get comfy, because we don't chase chaos, we choose calm. And this is Rewired for Love. Hey y'all, welcome back to Rewired for Love. So this week, we're going to do something a little bit different than just provide an education on our attachment wounds. Because on the socials, I have been getting a lot of questions about where different behaviors come from in regards to attachment wounds and in regard to relational wounds. And so there's a lot of questions and I got answers. So this week is going to be a little bit different. So let's jump into it. So I want us to be honest for a second here. And I just want you to tell me if you have ever been there staring at your phone, like, why do I keep attracting the same type of person just in a different body? Then this episode is for you. Because at some point, it stops feeling like bad luck and it starts feeling like a pattern. And hear me clearly when I say this, sis. You are not crazy. You are not broken. You are not spiritually cursed, but you are operating from something deeper than what you think. And for a lot of Black women between the ages of 25 and 40, that's something deeper that started before you ever downloaded an app, before you ever went on a date, and before you ever answered that "what are you doing" text at midnight. Now, before we keep going, let me reintroduce myself. I am your host, JaCarie Owens, therapist, EMDR consultant, and your homegirl in this healing work. And this episode, this is the one that makes you pause mid-walk, stop washing dishes, and say, wait a minute, run that back? Because we're not just talking about what we do to keep attracting the same type. We're talking about your family patterns, your nervous system, that strong Black woman script that you hold on to so tightly, and the part of you that keeps trying to fix what broke you. So here's the question that someone sent in. Why do I keep attracting emotionally unavailable people, even when I say I want something healthy? Oof. I think that hits a little bit different. So let's talk about it. First, let me normalize this, especially for Black or brown women between the ages of 25 and 40 listening right now. The reality is that you were taught how to be strong, how to show up, how to hold it together, and how to handle it for everybody else but yourself. But a lot of you also were never taught how to be emotionally held. You learned how to support, you learned how to endure, you learned how to fix, and you also learned how to forgive. But you did not constantly learn how to receive, how to be vulnerable without it being used against you, or how to say, I'm not okay, and still feel safe. So now, this isn't just you having bad taste in men or bad taste in people. This isn't just you choosing wrong. This is learned, especially in Black families where survival came before emotional safety. And I need you to hear this. You are not the first woman in your bloodline who settled for emotional crumbs and then called it a meal. And it has everything to do with your attachment nervous system. So here's the truth that most people on social media are not going to say. You are not attracting what you want. You are attracting what your nervous system recognizes. You want secure, honest, emotional, present love, but your nervous system, it's not used to that. It's used to inconsistency, emotional distance, having to prove your worth, working for love instead of receiving it. So when somebody comes in who may be calm, who may be consistent, or even emotionally available, your body doesn't go, ooh, I love this. Let me lean into it. It's healthy. It feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar feels unsafe. So let's be real. If you grew up watching a mom doing everything, the cooking, the cleaning, the working, holding everybody's emotions, and still not getting poured into, or let me just throw this one out here, a dad who was there physically, but emotionally checked out, or in and out, or only present through money and not through conversation, then your body learned that love is heavy, that love is work, that love is me doing the most and hoping I get something back. So now, fast forward to today, you meet somebody who's inconsistent, confusing, always hot and cold, and something in you instantly goes, oh, I know this. I know how to do this. But on the flip, you meet somebody who texts back, who communicates, who respects your boundaries, and that doesn't make you guess. But the wild thing is your nervous system goes, ooh, I don't trust that. That's too easy. Something gotta be off. There gotta be an ulterior motive. Something is there. And the reality is, let's just call it what it is. Familiar doesn't mean healthy. Familiar means that your nervous system has just practiced it. And some of y'all keep saying, God send me a good man or a good partner. But then when they show up emotionally present, your body labels them as boring, or labels them as too much, or that they're too sensitive or emotional, because your trauma still equates chaos with chemistry. So I want to hit you with a little truth bomb. So just sit with me. Let me hold your hand, because I'm going to say this in a way that might hit a little harder. You're not just choosing the wrong people. You're choosing what feels like home. Home for you might have been walking on eggshells, guessing people's moods, earning affection with performance, being praised for being mature or independent while nobody really checked on your heart. So when you sit across from someone emotionally unavailable and your chest tightens, but your soul is like, yep, that feels right. What you're actually saying is, this feels like what I know love is. And that's what makes this so dangerous, because it doesn't feel like you're choosing pain. It feels like you're choosing home. So you may be asking, why do we stay? Why is it so hard for me to choose something different? Well, what did your childhood model? So let's take it a step further, because the question isn't just, why do I attract them? It's also, why do I stay when I can see they're not showing up? And a lot of y'all are not staying because y'all don't know better, because we know better. You read the post, you listen to the podcast, you talk to your friends, you know better. You're staying because something in that relationship feels familiar to what you've learned love was. And as kids, we don't just experience love. We study it. We watch it. We look for who gets listened to, who gets silenced, who gets chosen, who gets tolerated. We pay attention to all those things. We also pay attention to, does mom get to rest? Does she get supported? Or is she the one apologizing, adjusting, bending, and still being misunderstood? Now for you, I want you to just be mindful. I want you to go inside and think about this. Did you watch a mother that chased emotional crumbs from a man? Did you watch her begging to be heard? Or was she bending herself into different versions just to keep the peace? Did she stay for the family but dying inside? And even if she never said it out loud, can you tell that she was suffering? Because the reality is, even if she didn't say it out loud, you saw it. You saw that love means I endure. That love means I hold it all. That love means I don't get what I give. Or maybe your father was a provider but not present emotionally. In the house but not the heart of the family. Shutting down feelings and emotions with, y'all be all right, or stop all that crying. Or we don't talk about that. How did your parents show up and how did they model love? Because now that you're an adult and connection doesn't feel like something you receive, it feels like something you have to survive without. And because you've experienced one or all of those examples of love, now you're an adult. And connection doesn't feel like something you receive. It feels like something you have to survive without. So when someone is halfway showing up, it's like, well, at least they're here. You're measuring them against being deprived, not actual emotional safety. Let that sink in. If you watched a strong Black mother who kept going with no emotional support, what you may have internalized is that love means I endure. That love means that I stay no matter how I feel or how empty I feel. Or that love means that I figure it out on my own and I call it loyalty. So now you're in your 20s and your 30s, and now you're saying things like, oh, I'm just built different, or I'm a rider. And a lot of us, we say, I hold my man or my partner down. But sometimes you're not holding them down. You're holding yourself down under the weight of emotional starvation. Let me just ask you, and I want you to really sit with this. When you stay in a relationship where you are emotionally underfed, who are you trying to save? Is it your partner? Or is it a version of your parent that you never got to rescue? Are you trying to prove that this time my love will be enough to make somebody stay, to make someone change, or just make someone show up and choose me? Because a lot of times, you're not just loving the person in front of you. You're trying to heal somebody behind you. You're trying to heal, potentially, the father who never apologized, or the mother who never rested, the caretakers who told you to be strong instead of being held. So you end up in a dynamic where somebody is emotionally unavailable. They shut down, they get defensive, and they always show up inconsistent. And instead of saying this isn't enough for me, something in you says, I know how to do this. I know how to overfunction. I know how to explain myself. I know how to love them through it all. But when you really sit with that, when you really explore it, you start to realize that that is not love. That is a trauma assignment that you never got to complete. And because I'm giving y'all several hard truths here, here's another hard truth. You don't just struggle with choosing different. You struggle with tolerating different. You know how to tolerate chaos. You know how to tolerate confusion, mixed signals, the will sees that doesn't give you a definite answer, or the I'm not ready to talk about my feelings right now and then never circle back to talk. But can you tolerate consistency? Somebody actually texting back without you begging. A partner who says, you hurt my feelings without cussing you out. Or someone who asks, what do you need from me in this moment? And actually follows through with that. A healed love life isn't just about changing who you pick. It's about expanding what your nervous system can stand without sabotaging it. And the reality is, we usually go to extremes based on what is modeled to us in our childhood. And this is where a lot of Black and brown women go to one or two of the extremes. So the first extreme is that they lean into what they already know, which means that you overgive, you overexplain, you overfunction, you stay too long, you treat situationships like marriages, and you call it loyalty when it's really self-abandonment. You become the therapist, the counselor, the mother, the fixer to a grown person who is choosing not to grow. And then you become exhausted. But you call it being strong instead of exhausted. Or you swing to the other side and your cutoff game is strong. And you say things like, never again, I'm done. Or you shut down, you detach, you build a wall so high that nobody can get in. And to the naked eye, you look strong, you look independent, you look completely unbothered. Your Instagram says soft life, but your heart says, I don't trust nobody. And you go from emotional chaos, emotional isolation, And what you actually did was you traded that for inconsistency for disconnection, drama for distance, and being emotionally starved in relationships for being emotionally starved alone. And now you protected yourself so well that love can't reach you at all. And a lot of people don't realize that you can have a hard exterior and still have a very, very soft, unhealed interior that just wants to feel safe. And you continue to be that person who everyone calls when they're falling apart and still go home to a bed where you cry quietly thinking, when is it my turn to be held like that? Or when is someone going to check on me and see how I'm doing? Or I'm not important. No one ever cares for me. So what can we do to change this? Now that we done answered the question, I done held your hand, I done gave you the hard truths, let's talk about what healing actually looks like here. Because healing is not just next time I'll pick better. That's not the reality. Your body going to send you cues and going to function way before your brain even registers what's going on. So healing is retraining your nervous system, learning what safety actually feels like, understanding your needs, and having the courage to communicate them, even if it risks the relationship. Because healthy love requires skills a lot of us weren't taught in Black and brown families. And that's boundaries, emotional honesty, saying no without a 3-page letter, receiving without overgiving, and a big one, letting people earn deep access to you instead of trauma bonding on day 3. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable, only at first. Because if you were raised to believe, don't depend on anyone, don't tell your business, handle it yourself, then saying things like, I need support, I feel hurt, I don't like how that felt, I need more emotional presence from you, that's going to feel like a tight knot in your chest. That's going to make you feel real uneasy. But that's exactly what generational healing looks like. Breaking the rules that broke you. And here's the power line I want you to sit with. You teach people how to love you. Not just by what you say, but by what you tolerate, what you stay in, and what you keep excusing. You can post 1,000,000 quotes about self-worth, but the relationship that you stay in is the syllabus for your nervous system, and that's what it's actually studying. So we have to learn how to reframe some things in a soft way where your nervous system can receive them. So how do you start shifting this? So here's a few questions to take with you. 1, when you are sitting within your relationship, ask yourself, does this feel safe or just familiar? The next time you feel drawn to somebody, check in. Is my body calm or buzzing with anxiety? Do I feel like I can exhale around them or like I have to perform? And then ask yourself, who am I trying to save? When you're tempted to overfunction, am I trying to save this partner? Or am I trying to rewrite my parents' story or past relationships? That's what you have to sit with. And that's a hard truth that you have to be really reflective and self-aware to understand. Number 3, what part of me is choosing right now? Is it my healed, grown woman self who knows her worth? Or is it my inner 8-year-old trying to finally be chosen? Or is it that anxious part that's terrified of being alone? Or my avoidant part, trying to feel powerful by needing no one? Sit with that. Notice that. Number 4, practice tolerating healthy. Yes, that part is going to be comfortably uncomfortable. But notice what type of uncomfortable. Is it harming you? Or is it just unfamiliar? Because when someone shows up and they're kind, considerate, emotionally honest, because you would have to understand the difference between harmful uncomfortability and just unfamiliar uncomfortability. And number 5, Don't run just because it feels weird. Do not pass go. Don't run. Give your nervous system time to recalibrate. Tell yourself, my body isn't used to this yet, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. Learn to lean into those things and learn how to rewire what feels good, because breaking this cycle is choosing discomfort over familiarity. I'm going to say that again because I need you to hold on to that. Breaking this cycle is choosing discomfort over familiarity. It's sitting in something that feels calm, even when your body is scanning for chaos. Because it's saying, just because I can survive here doesn't mean that it's meant for me to stay here. That's a whole lot of information to hold. But y'all asked the questions, so I had to answer. And I had to answer in a way that I knew was going to get y'all together, but in a loving homegirl sisterly type of way. So I will leave you with 2 questions. Are you choosing what you're actually wanting? Or what feels like home to your trauma? And are you ready, not just in your words, but in your choices, to let love feel different? Because the version of you that heals, she will not be attracted to the same people. Today you will never be yesterday you, not through your healing journey. And that's not a loss. That's evidence that your nervous system is finally learning. And it's learning that you deserve more than what you were trained to accept. I'm going to release your hand and just say this. If this episode hit you right in your chest, if you had to, woo, that's me. If you had one of those moments, share it with another woman or partner or person who keeps asking, why does this keep happening to me? And if you got a question that you want me to answer next, send it in. Because we're not just talking about love on this podcast. We are rewiring it for you, for your future relationships, for your daughters, your nieces, your little cousins, for those people that are watching how you love. So until next time, be gentle with yourself. Pay attention to who your nervous system calls home. And remember, you were never too much. You were just loving in places that gave you too little. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Rewired for Love. If today's conversation resonated with you, share with someone you care about, or take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback helps this community to grow and keeps these healing conversations flowing. You can also follow me and come hang out with me on all socials, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of them at Rewired for Love Podcast. Go there to get your daily doses of healing, honesty, and a whole lot of love. Until next time, keep listening to your body, lead with compassion, and remember, you are safe enough to love and be loved.